For today's art class, we're going to need just a piece of normal paper for drawing on, a piece of watercolor paper, some watercolor paints, a couple of paintbrushes, a pencil and an eraser, and a container with fresh water. So let's get started. So today we're doing illustrations, and I'm just going to show you one way in which I enjoy creating illustrations. But first off, I thought we'd do a bit of a warm-up. Now you have to remember, illustrations aren't about perfection, they're about creating interesting characters. And I thought a fun way of starting today's art class would just be to do a few sample faces and showing you that you don't need to freak out about not being able to draw eyes, because some eyes are just dots. Now, remembering I'm just new to this whole illustration world, and I pretty much just experiment myself and just practice. I might zoom in just a little bit to show you a bit closer. All right, so what I've done here is a circle. I'm going to do another circle. Well, it's more of an oval, isn't it? And then I'll do another oval. They're pretty tiny. I probably should have done them bigger, but it doesn't really matter. For the purpose of this little activity, it's just to show you that there are many different ways that you can do illustrations. So this one I'm doing a cross right through the middle. This one I'm doing the cross is a little bit further up. And this one I'm just going to leave blank. I'm not doing anything. All right, so the purpose of the cross was to show you where I'm going to position the eyes. Now that's a little bit wonky and a little bit off, and I possibly should have taken more time, but it's just a quick example to show you the many different ways of doing character drawing. So all I've done here are two little dots. I've done a little round thing for a nose, little C, and I've done a smile. I'm going to add maybe a little bit of hair. I'm going to add some ears at the side, a bit of a neck, and there we have one character, and it's as simple as that. Now I could go along and rub out these little cross lines. If you were doing this digitally, you could have the first layer with have the crosses, and then the second layer have the little illustrations. All right, so now the eyes are a bit higher, and I'm going to change it up and just do circular eyes and have them looking down. I'm going to do a bigger nose and a bigger smile. Ears are going to be at the side, and I'll just do little squiggles for ears, and you can even see that they're not even. Give him a bit of a neck. This one's going to be wearing a t-shirt, and there's my second character. And the last one, very, very tiny. So I might make this one a girl. And this is to show you that just with a few simple lines, that's how easy it is to create a character. So there we have three circles, three different looking characters, and it's taken me a matter of minutes. So what I thought I'd do now was quickly show you how I actually go about doing characters. So maybe I'll work on this guy here. All I've really done is a circle. Now, what I usually do is draw quite lightly. Hopefully you can see that. I might need to zoom back out again. Okay, all I do is draw quite lightly. So I start with a little circle. And I did his eyes around the middle. I gave him a little nose And I gave him a bit of a quirky smile. Gave him very straight hair. Gave him a couple of little ears at the side. Gave him a bit of a neck. Some characters you don't even need to draw necks. He's got a t-shirt on with a collar. He's got a shirt on. That was a bit wonky. Now I'm not going to show you the whole process of doing this, but what I usually do is just draw the character, and then I rub out quite carefully the pencil marks. And remember, it's not about perfection. You know, initially the first drawing really is to try and get your character. I probably shouldn't have gone to there. Give him a belt. Give him some shorts. Fold up maybe. Okay, what I'm going to do is come back when I finish drawing. Now, as you can see, I've finished drawing him, and he's just a very rough example. Like when I usually do it, oops, sorry about that movement. When I usually do it, I usually take a lot of time and think about it. I often use reference pictures. So for example, if I need to draw the boy sitting down, I'll either get one of my family members to sit down and take a photo of that, or I'll just look at a generic photo that is free from copyright, and you can use those sorts of pictures. So one way that I do my illustrations is by using pen and watercolor. So it doesn't really matter when you do the pen. You can do the pen part first off, or you can do it afterwards. So I just basically go around the pencil line. Oops. Looks like I'm due for a new pen. Give him a couple of stray hairs sticking up. Draw his neck. So what I'll do, I'll finish doing this, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've decided to turn those into pajamas because they look more like pajamas. Okay, the first step is done. I've penciled it. The second step is done. I've rubbed it out. Third step is done. I've traced it in pen. And now I'm going to watercolor over the top. Now, this is a tone for skin. It's a bit dirty, but it's easy enough to use. So you can use all different skin tones. There's ways of mixing it up. You can mix up all the primary colours together and actually make a fairly decent skin colour. It's just a matter of messing around. Now you can see that I'm painting over the top of that pen, and the reason I can do that is because that pen is permanent. It's a pigment liner, so it's not going to run when water's on it. So that's important to remember. You need a pigment liner when you're doing this process. I'm just going to paint all the areas that have skin showing. Any colour is suitable for skin. You could even leave it just not coloured in if you like. It's totally up to you. Illustration is all down to what you want to portray. So I'm leaving his feet part because I'm a sock girl. I like drawing socks on people. All right, so I'm thinking I'm going to do some light blue pajamas with him. I have a mixing palette here that's very dirty, but I need to find a nice blue area. So, and I'm going to use just minimal, very minimal. And he's wearing striped pajamas. Sometimes with watercolor, less is more. So he's wearing blue striped pajamas. And you can still see a little bit of the pencil in behind, but I don't care about that. That's just a personal choice. You can rub that pencil line out and just hand draw your stripes. As I said, I'm just doing a very quick process to show you what I actually do when I do watercolor illustrations. Sometimes I even do, I do acrylic illustrations. I do lots of different illustrations. So this is just a very quick one to show you the actual process. I might just give him a blue collar there. And what colour socks? I'm thinking red socks might be nice. So we'll just make sure. Now the important thing is when you do watercolour, and I've talked about this before, if you are doing watercolor that meets one another, try and make sure that it's really quite dry. So don't use a whole lot of water if you want to get it done quick smart, but if you're happy to wait until each individual thing is dry, then you can use as much or as little watercolor as you like. So I'm just about done now. I could do a whole lot of things to make him more realistic if I wanted to, but the thing with watercolor or with illustrations is that it's not realistic. That's the bottom line. So I might just get a little bit of grey to just create a very small amount of shadow underneath him, which means I'm going to need to water it down quite a bit. I don't want too much shadow. I can't remember where I just put that. There it is. Okay, so I might do a little bit of shadow underneath him. Just blend that out. Add a little bit more water to make that stretch out and turn it into more like a ground. And there we have it. A very simple illustration, but that's to show you one process of which you can use. So that's just a watercolor with a pigment pen. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.